everyone, it's Margaret Knight with Creative Stamping with Margaret. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'm here sharing one of the cards from the October 2023 card class. The theme for the month of October was all about autumn, and the card today uses the autumn leaves bundle, and actually the suite is called All About Autumn, and that's in the mini catalog. And from the suite, we're going to be using the Autumn Leaves bundle, which includes the Autumn Leaves stamp set as well as the dies. We're also using the Oxidized Copper Designer Series paper and the All About Autumn Specialty Designer Series paper. That paper has been extremely popular. If you've tried getting it, you will have noticed that it comes in and within just a half a day it sells out. I think Stampin' Up is replenishing it now for about the third or fourth time, but it is just a gorgeous paper, and we're going to be using one of the prints from that. Let me move this stamp set out of the way, and I will show you the particular stamps from the set that we're going to be using. But we're making a Slimline card today. So this is our Autumn Leaves Slimline card. If you ordered a kit to go, which each month I offer my card classes not only in person but as kits to go. If you're ever interested in ordering one of the kits, visit my blog and you will see where I have a tab at the top where you can order the monthly class to go. The stamps that we're going to be using from the set is just the large maple leaf as well as the stem and veins, I guess you would call that, for the stamp. As far as dies, from the die set, we're using the coordinating dies that go with the maple, as well as the smaller of the label dies for the dies. We're also using the sentiment, I'm thankful, and I'm using the smaller stamp that's in that set for all you do. And as you'll notice on the card, I've done that in two different inks. The inks that we're using are Pretty Peacock and Crumb Cake. And because this is a Slimline card, you can use just a regular business size envelope for it. I actually had some that are in a very vanilla color, since very vanilla is the color that we're using to stamp on. And just so happened I found some envelopes that were very close to that color. But of course you could just use a regular white envelope. No one's going to make any comment about the fact that your envelope doesn't match the inside of your card. And all of the dimensions for cutting your cardstocks, etc., and the materials you'll need are in the description of this video. So you don't need to worry about trying to take notes or write down sizes, dimensions. I don't give those to you while I'm stamping. That way I ensure when I put it in the description that you're getting the proper measurements. So in the kit we have our Crumb Cake card base. We have a layering panel of the Pretty Peacock. You'll have two panels of the Very Vanilla Cardstock, one for your front and one for the interior. You'll also need a 3x6 piece of the Designer Series paper, and on this one I'm using the specialty paper that's in that All About Autumn that has the pretty peacock background with the copper design on it, and then of course the copper oxidized specialty paper. And as you can see, I've already cut one, and just because this is so detailed, and I'll show you the one I've already pre-cut, I have put the adhesive sheet on the back. That's optional. You could, if you want to, just dot it with a little glue, but I found it just so much easier to apply adhesive to the back. If you did order the kit from me, your pieces have already been die cut. I can't stamp, but I can die cut for you, and they do have the adhesive on the back. So you need to just take a pick of some sort to get that started to pull that out. So you do not need to add glue to it. It has already has the adhesive sheet to the back. So let me pull some of the items out of the way. Let's go ahead and die cut. I'm going to die cut one of the maple leaves as well as one more of the vein pieces that go with that maple leaf. If I can get it off of my magnet here. I like to keep the ones that I'm using on a magnet sheet, so just helps keep it together. But let me lay that down. And just a tip, because the way that this card is designed, the stem piece isn't necessary for the veins on that vein panel, so you can just have that overhanging, because I actually snipped this off when I place it onto the leaf and the card. That's just a little tip for you, because when I do provide the measurements of the paper, that oxidized paper, I've not allowed enough width to do the entire stem, since I knew it was going to be trimmed, that paper. That way I can sort of save on some of that paper to use for other projects. And these little pieces that I have left that have adhesive on them, I'm going to keep those in my scrap bin, because I can cut smaller portions out with those. And you would take your little, you will take the label panel and you will cut the crumb cake piece as well as a piece of Very Vanilla for your sentiment. As I mentioned, if you ordered a kit to go, that has already been die cut for you, so you're set just to stamp it and assemble. So now we are ready to start stamping and assembling our card. So I'm going to take one of the actually I'm going to pull both Very Vanilla in here, but one I'm going to do approximately 5 leaves scattered throughout for the front panel. And this is a distinctive stamp. In the in-person class, I had some folks ask me, this looks like this is pretty juicy, excuse me, let me just check. I had some people ask, where is the stamp for for stamping the inside of the leaf, and I said, oh, that's the distinctive stamp, so that will do that. So yes, my ink pad is a little juicy, so let me just pull a little excess ink off. And I'm also going to pull up one of my piercing mats. Sometimes with these photopolymer stamps, I find it a little bit helpful to have that. And I'm not sure if I've removed enough ink, but if it's a little blotchy, that'll be okay. But you'll know not to over ink your ink pad. And I moved that, so I'm going to flip that over, start again. It definitely helped that I removed a little of that ink. And of course, once the ink dries, it's a little bit different color than when you first lay it down. Oops, and I had some ink on my hand and hit it there, but that's okay, because we're going to cover that with our next leaf. Let's see. We'll have this one go. Well, that matches that, so we don't want that. We'll just tilt that as such. That is our front. Now for the interior of the card, I'm just going to stamp one of the leaves up at the top. And then of course you can also stamp some on your envelope. There were the other two pieces that you would need, but as I mentioned, I will have all of the materials you need in the description of the video, along with the materials and cut dimensions. Now with this same color, I'm going to go back and add the stems in, and now you'll notice that there's this little V. Let me make sure I've got this in the camera. Hopefully you've seen some of that. But you see I have this little V, so that's where the stem is going to go. And we'll just do that on all of our leaves. could go ahead and do the one for our interior as well. Once you have everything pre-cut, this card really does go together rather quickly. You're only using 2 colors for stamping. Let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. I have pulled in the panel that I have already die cut, and I'm going to stamp "I'm thankful for" using the pretty Peacock. And if this is out of camera, I apologize. I have to sort of stand over it and look straight down when I'm stamping to make sure I have it lined up properly. And now what I'm doing for this smaller one, for All You Do, I have used the bottom part of, oops, I just stuck that in the wrong ink color. Let me clean that. That should be in our crumb cake. What I was saying is I'm using the bottom part of the F to line that up right around where the word "you" is. So I'm sort of trying to place it within where it says "for all you do." So between "all" and "you." There again, I've got to bring this down so I can see it. There. I actually grabbed a little too much ink, but I do have another one here prepared just in case. So that one is a little bit neater. And then the way I layered these, just take your paper snips, or you could put it on your paper cutter if you want, but just basically cut this in half. And then we're going to layer these so that it peeks out, where it peeks out at the top and bottom. And I found just by adding a little bit of liquid adhesive, and you want to make sure that you've got it right side up where you're adding the adhesive. There, we have that lined up. But that just helps with giving a little bit of background to our sentiment piece. I think I have that centered. This one's off just a touch, but that's, yeah, there it is. So now all we have to do is pull in all of our pieces and start assembling our card. Let me move all of these stamps that have ink on them out of my way, or else they will be all over the card. Get a few things here out of the way. And I'm not sure what happened to my bone folder. Let's see if I have another one in my drawer. And I don't, so I'm just going to take the edge of a block and use that to help flatten that. And now we layer our panels. Use the pretty Peacock. we will add our stamped panel. You'll want to pull in your die cut pieces. And this is where you'll want to pull out either your take your pick, or I have the one of the old piercing tools here, and I'm just going to go ahead, but before I do that, let me snip off some of that stem. I'm going to go ahead and lift this, get it started so I can separate the adhesive part from the backing of the adhesive so that I can expose that. I'm just pulling that backing off. So we have that one. Let's move on to the next one. Again, we just lay it onto our leaf. Let me move that. It looks like I'm missing. Oh, there was a little bit of a different piece with the adhesive. Some of those adhesive panels have a line through them, so you may have several pieces of backing, and that's what I do on this one. So let me just get that pulled off. You can see there is the line. I hope you've been having a great day. We have been enjoying wonderful fall weather here in Georgia. I can remember times when at this time of year it still has been really hot, but we have had just gorgeous weather. Low to mid-70s in the day, and then in the evenings it gets down in the 50s. Just perfect. Let me see if that's the same issue I have here. And it does look like I may have missed it on this one as well. So when you are pulling the adhesive off, if it looks like a piece isn't sticking, just make sure to run something along there, as it may have been where the adhesive panel was pieced. Okay, now these I just added to the card front using just my liquid glue. You could also use your Stampin' Seal or whatever other glue is your preferred glue. And I'm going to leave just a small gap here because our sentiment is going to go over it. And the sentiment will go onto our card with dimensionals. So I am thankful for all you do. I love that sentiment. Of course, you will attach your center panel on the inside. And of course, there's plenty of room to write a sentiment on there. You could write a nice little note telling someone how special they are for you, to you, and for all that they do for you. And then last but not least, we are using some of the neutrals, adhesive backed rhinestones, and I'm using the copper color. I just thought it was nice that it pulled out the copper from the oxidized paper that we used. I used the copper oxidized paper. There's also a paper in there that is copper oxidized with the pretty Peacock. So you could decide which one you wanted to use. But there we have our Autumn Leaves Slimline card featuring the Autumn Leaves stamp set and well, actually the entire bundle, not just the stamp set, but the dies as well. And this is from the October 2023 card class. I'm Margaret Knight with Creative Stamping with Margaret. Thanks for joining me. If you would like this video, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. And be sure to share this video. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.